This is more breaking news that we're getting on the big issue that we have been closely tracking, the marital rape, where the Delhi High Court has delivered a split verdict in this case. Remember, there has been a lot of discussion and debate, and in fact, we were waiting for the Delhi High Court's ruling around the exception, which is under the section 375 of the IPC. Now, this case is related to what is called, what can be categorized as rape and what cannot when it comes to a relationship between a husband and wife, especially at a time when, the section 375 here gives an exception where it says that charges of rape cannot be attracted against a man who has non-consensual sex with his wife. Now, the Delhi High Court, in fact, has delivered a split verdict on this issue. Nilashish joins us live on, beg your pardon, Meenakshi joins us live on the broadcast for more on this. Meenakshi, what more details can you share with us? Meenakshi, am I audible? All right, we seem to be having some trouble with Meenakshi's line there. We'll try and reconnect with her in just a moment. But this is big news coming in from the Delhi High Court that has delivered a split verdict in the case involving the marital rape that, remember, has been around an exception under the section 375 of the IPC that says that charges of rape cannot be attracted against a man who has non-consensual sex with his wife. All right, this is the big breaking news that we're seeing. The Delhi High Court order that we were awaiting. Now, that in fact is, the court has in fact delivered a split verdict. Meenakshi joins us live on the broadcast to share more details. Meenakshi, please go ahead. Meenakshi, am I audible? All right, we'll once again try and reconnect with Meenakshi. But this is big breaking news that we're getting. The Delhi High Court, in fact, has delivered a split verdict. Two judges disagree on the issue of marital rape. Now, this, of course, has been a big issue that we are closely tracking that relates to the decriminalization of marital rape. This whole debate and the discussion has been around a certain one exception under the section 375, which effectively means that a man, this is with respect to the relationship between a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, where the section leaves out the possibility of rape charges against a man if he has forced sex with his wife. Meenakshi joins us on the broadcast. Meenakshi, please go ahead. What more details can you share with us?
Well, big news coming from the Delhi High Court. We know that both the justices who were seized with the matter, they have a differing position insofar as this particular, provision is concerned. The exception which is granted under 375, that exception, one of the justices, Honorable Justice Shakdar, has found it to be violative of Article 14, and therefore he said that it should be struck down. But on the other hand, Honorable Justice Hari Shankar has disagreed. So this means that both the justices who were seized of this particular matter pertaining to the exception granted as insofar as marital rape is concerned in India have disagreed, because of which the issue of marital rape, whether it should be criminalized or not, that remains inconclusive as we speak, because the Delhi High Court bench has arrived at a split verdict. One of the justices finds this exception to be unconstitutional and says that it should be struck down as it's violative of Article 14 of the Constitution. On the other hand, his brother judge, Honorable Justice Hari Shankar, is of the point of view that this is an exception which is constitutional and should be upheld. So the issue of marital rape, it was a very hotly contested matter before the Delhi High Court. We've seen positions of the central government on this one, where the central government, as all governments before it, had said that criminalisation of marital rape in a setup like India, where marriage is defined as a sanctimonious union of two souls under the Hindu Marriage Act, would not be conducive, because that would attack at the entire social fabric of the country, and several other laws would also get impacted. That was the position of the union government when the matter was being argued, and subsequent to that, the Delhi High Court had reserved its orders on this one. Those pronouncements were slated for around 2:15 in the afternoon today. Bench assembled around 2:21, 2:20 in the afternoon, and subsequent to this, big news coming from the Delhi High Court, where the bench has arrived at a split verdict on this issue. Thereby, the question whether marital rape should be criminalized or not remains inconclusive.
All right, Meenakshi, now, now that this issue remains inconclusive and the both, judges of the Delhi High Court could not arrive at a decision in terms of the procedure, what happens next?
Well, yes, that will be hugely interesting, because you see, the Delhi High Court has said that this issue involves a substantial question of law, and the Delhi High Court has also given the liberty to appeal before the Supreme Court to the aggrieved parties or the petitioners, and the Delhi High Court has left it to the Supreme Court now to consider this contentious subject matter of marital rape. Remember, a very quick background for our viewers, what had happened yesterday in the Supreme Court is also very interesting. It was a disparate matter, but for the first time we had seen an indication from the Supreme Court where in a Karnataka case, the Supreme Court had refused to interfere, where the man who is facing grave charges of misdemeanor, sexual misconduct and on his wife, had approached the Supreme Court against the earlier order of the Karnataka High Court, which had refused to quash charges against him. That was the case of marital rape. For the first time, we saw yesterday the Supreme Court give its nod to the Karnataka High Court order and post the matter for hearing sometime in July. So that was a disparate matter we underlined for our viewers. But as far as Delhi High Court's verdict is concerned, the High Court has granted leave or liberty to the petitioners to knock on the doors of the Supreme Court, and it has left to the Supreme Court to now interpret this contentious, sticky subject matter. And clearly, the High Court, one of the justices, Honorable Justice Shakdhar, feels that this particular exception granted to husbands under the rape law is unconstitutional. It should be struck down. On the other hand, Justice Hari Shankar is of the opinion that there is no reason to strike down this exception granted under the rape provision to husbands within the confines of a marriage. So the debate will perhaps continue, and as we have been showcasing on Mirror Now since yesterday, that final arbiter on this one going forward eventually will have to be the Supreme Court of India. We've seen the top court of this country lay down the law of the land in several matters, be that the right to privacy judgment or the interpretation or reading down of Section 377 is concerned, or several other contentious, sticky subjects. The Supreme Court becomes the final arbiter and the interpreter of statute law. And it seems that with the current verdict of the Delhi High Court, where both the justices have been unable to arrive at a cohesive, conclusive decision, the ball again will have to be in the Supreme Court's domain, and
Right.
eventually going forward, the top court's word on this one will be the final one.
All right, Meenakshi, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with all those details.